hope the fade out worked this time. Last time it didn't. Let me stop the music here. So we are live for our third dev chat now. Wow. Can't even keep track of the numbers anymore. So this is our third dev chat. We are in Kickstarter still. How much time we have left, Matt? We have 11 days to go. Less than 2 weeks. And we are little less than pretty much almost 1/3 of the way there. So we have 11 days to go. And we have a ways to go. So hopefully all of you people holding out, let's hope you don't hold out too much longer.
It's been awesome watching the progress on it.
Yeah.
Ever since the giant bomb interview went up, we've been, ticking up,
Like a ticking
regularly.
time bomb?
Ticking up. not a ticking time bomb, but ticking up fairly regularly
Yeah.
over the course of the weekend, which has been awesome to see. We still got a ways to go. But the progress is just, it's nice to see. It seems like more and more people are getting the news, checking out the Kickstarter, checking out the website, seeing what we're offering, and backing us based off of that. I also noticed over the weekend that, and this is I hadn't started really following Chikaro's wrestlers until this past weekend, but I've noticed they've been really kind of hitting the social media as well and putting tweets out, pointing people at us, which has been great to see as well.
We just got a comment that's a little hard to hear, Matt, but I think I just turned it up a little bit. So
do I need to start screaming?
Maybe yell. Maybe we'll get you what are those called? Those megaphone. That's it.
Yeah, well, if I yell too much, I'm going to need to get some water at some point.
That could probably be arranged. So we have some people hanging out in the chat room. Slysall says hi. Rotary Club Minion says, so excited, nice fade. So apparently the fade worked this time. That's good to hear. And yeah, so a couple people said hard to hear, Matt. So hopefully we improve that. I just changed some levels a little bit. If not, you might have to tongue kiss that microphone. Actually, no, don't do that.
No, don't think so. Not happening.
All right, so that's sort of the update on Kickstarter. We still have a ways to go, so if you folks out there want to see Rudo Resurrection get made, tell your friends, tell your rich uncles, tell everyone, tell your enemies. I don't care who it is. I feel like this is sort of like how PBS works, right? When they do the fund drive pledges, right?
We're working on our NPR drive
yes.
processes here. We're still figuring it out.
Actually, you know what, Matt? If you angle that microphone up a little bit more, I think we'll get some. There it is.
I destroy everything in the process.
You can destroy it. It's okay.
But yeah, we're working on our NPR drive efforts.
Yes, absolutely. So, of the new stuff going on right now, Matt, actually, why don't you take this and talk a little bit about? So on Screenshot Saturday, that's the thing that all the kids are doing these days, right? Screenshot Saturday, we shared a new image from some of the level progression going on. So we basically took a piece of concept art done by the awesome Raxi, who's been helping us out, and she's been really cool and awesome to work with. And she had produced this piece of art, and Matt took that art. And what did you do with it, Matt?
I made a level out of it. And I'm going to talk a little bit louder because Slysall says I'm still a little quiet. Last dev chat, I talked a little bit about the process that we've been trying to get in place, taking an overview concept and turn it into actual in-game 3D space. So my current project was taking awesome Raxi's awesome concept and turning it into a 3D space. It's still not quite done yet. Our development process is largely focused on creating, white box objects that then the artists can take and turn into something, prettier than what I've made. But the idea with this process is to get a really strong, solid look and feel, really strong silhouettes, so that when the artists do look at it, they don't have to, work too hard to figure out what our intention with the level is, what our goal with the level is. Last week it was the product of a week and a half's worth of making white box assets top of it. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out so far. It speaks a lot to Unreal's asset integration pipeline, that a lot of what I've been doing in those spaces is easily doable by me. A lot of it's as simple as take Graybox FBX file and drag it into Unreal, and all of a sudden it works in Unreal, which is awesome. Certainly helps our pipeline, streamlines things amazingly well for us, and it lets us iterate on specific individual assets really, really quickly. So yeah, it's kind of a dream little engine to work with. Still working on the level. Not really sure where to go next in this line of conversation. If you guys have questions, feel free to hit us up with questions, whether that's about Screenshot Saturday or anything else that we've been putting up. Like we said, the Giant Bomb interview went up last week, which has gotten a lot of attention. So if you haven't listened to that, be sure after we're done with this to take a spin over to Giant Bomb and look us up over there. I don't know how long that interview was, but it's got Jared and Jesse talking about Rudo.
It's about like 20-25 minutes. So there's a little bit about where Matt is for level design. Also, some new exciting things going on with combat.
Yes.
We've locked Jared Hall Dugas in a room. We've chained him and we've given him nothing but bread and water. And he's just been feverishly working on upgrading combat, adding some new animations that we've got from our new buddy Romero, who's been doing some awesome animations for us. So Jared is very hard at work at that, which is why he's not in studio here today. But we will have something to show very shortly, hopefully if everything goes right, in a day or two. So
he's been living and breathing combat systems since the beginning of the weekend.
Yeah.
And the results look great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of an upgrade from what we had previously. There's more animations. You can see more flavor in the animations, and the combat overall feels a little bit better. So hopefully that translates just as well to us playing it, and we'll be showing you guys very, very shortly. Hopefully, we may even do. There's a rumor on the campfire that we may actually be doing a very special Twitch stream to show off a little bit of that. So if that happens, we'll let everybody know. But yeah, some exciting things going on. We got some basic effects working. We have some not weapon trails, but punch trails, I guess you could call them. So lots of cool, exciting, fun stuff going on there, and we will be showing everyone out there hopefully in just another day or two. And it's pretty exciting and pretty cool. So
lots of great look and feel development and discussions going on amongst us as well. We had a meeting earlier today, before this, where we were spending it must have been an hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking about the combat system and what Jared was doing, and what we really, really liked, what we still wanted to improve, what things that we wanted to add. So it was a great opportunity to see where combat was, kind of check where it was, and get really pumped about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just letting everyone know here that we're doing this chat, if anyone else wants to join in. And we will be taking questions, so if you're in the chat room on Twitch, just ask away. But if you're not able to ask questions via the chat room in Twitch, you can go ahead and tweet at us and use the hashtag RudoDevChat. We've already had, I think there's a couple questions there, but feel free you can post those anytime. So even if we're not doing the chat live, we'll queue up the questions and take them. We also have some questions from the Chikara 101 boards, which we'll be addressing those in just a moment. There's one I want to get to especially, but I do want to take, you already talked about this a little bit, Matt, but I want to take the opportunity to thank Alex Navarro at Giant Bomb for chatting with myself and Jared, because that's obviously huge for us. As soon as the Giant Bomb interview went live, we had we saw a bunch of pledges. So it's definitely doing its thing and helping us out, and we really appreciate Alex doing that. Giant Bomb doesn't typically talk to Kickstarter games Apparently, that's been sort of a thing of theirs, and I think they're softening on that stance. But we may have been one of the first Kickstarter games that they've spoken to. So that's pretty awesome. We love Giant Bomb. We love the guys there. Alex is a really awesome guy. So appreciate him taking the time to do that and to help us out. And also, we've been getting more support, as once again, as Matt mentioned, from the Chikara folks. So Chikara wrestlers, the Chikarmy. That's for those who don't know, the fans of Chikara. You're inducted into the Chikarmy if you're a fan. So they've been helping out. We've had some people just tweeting like crazy. American Jesus is his name. He tweets us every day. So that's really pretty phenomenal of him to help out. And we actually got to meet him at Jared and I met him at the Chikara show, and he said he was going to continue to tweet about us every day. So that's awesome. A host of other folks just doing their best to make sure the word gets out there.
Yeah, Worker Ant tweeted earlier today,
yeah,
too.
That's right.
Which
Yeah,
was good to see.
Absolutely. So, let's see. I'm going to ask you a question, Matt, so I can finish up doing this doing this social media stuff here. So, what were your impressions of the sort of combat upgrade? I know you spoke a little bit about it, but compared to what we had previously, what can folks expect to see based on what we had versus what we have now?
Sure. So when we initially released our footage, and we've stated it a few times, like that was really our proof of concept work. You know, we wanted to prove that we could get a character in game. We wanted to be able to hit buttons on a controller or keyboard and then make the character do stuff based off of hitting those buttons. So our animations and whatnot were very straightforward. You know, they served our needs, and our overall intent and goal was to always improve them and make them awesome and splashy and very in character with Chikara and wrestling in general. You know, a lot of us have a lot of love for those brawlers. A lot of us love fighting games. You know, there's a massive library of games that we've all played in the past that we're all kind of inspired by and we really enjoyed. And you know, we want to get our own combat to that level with the additional animation support that we've had over the past couple of weeks. You know, we've had some great animations being made, and what Jared has been doing, it was, you know, I had gone away for the weekend, so it was really, I left Friday with the old combat system in place and came back last night to something completely new and awesome. It was, you know, great to see the new animations in place, great to see the new combo and combat system in place. Our meeting earlier today, as we were having our meeting, Jared is still like playing with things and tweaking things and adjusting things, and you know, at a couple of points he'd just be like, okay, grab the data now and let's see what we think about it. And it's really exciting to see the changes. The combat just feels and looks better. You know, it feels like we are, you know, running around in that environment, beating things up. You know, we have those alternate animations, the combo animations, the extra effects that just add that little bit of extra punch that, you know, really, on the grand scheme of things, you may not notice it when you're playing a game, but they're just these little, really simple adjustments that make the look and feel of combat awesome. You know, you'd be surprised how much, you know, weapon streaks or attack streaks on, you know, wrists and feet can add to the feel of the game. How much just having small dust particles kick up as your character running around adds to the game. But it's, you know, it's a combination of big things in our animations and little things like those small FX features and tweaks to movement rate that just really make it pop.
Yeah, absolutely. Just little things like that make a huge difference, and hopefully that's you know, that's visible to everyone out there. It definitely looks different, so we're really excited to show that off. Let's get to some questions, I guess. So, folks, if you're in the chat room, you're watching on stream, you have a question for us, and you're in the chat room, go ahead and just ask questions. We'll get to them. If you are not in the chat room and you have Twitter handy, go ahead and tweet out using the hashtag RudoDevChat. That's RUDODEV chat. People know how to spell chat, right?
I think so. Well, that's with an E, right? Rudo Dev Chat.
Rudo Dev Chat. Chate.
Chat.
Chet.
Yeah.
So let's get to. Let me find this question here again. So this question was from Dingus on the Chikara 101 boards.
He's now been immortalized in a Twitch stream.
That's right. So Dingus asks, I've been thinking, with the current pledge being 1/3 of the goal and less than half the time remaining, it makes me wonder what the future will be if Kickstarter doesn't work. Don't get me wrong, I really hope there are more donators that pop up over the next 2 weeks, but just wondering where you guys go with this if Kickstarter isn't successful. It would be disappointing for all involved if you guys don't make the goal and it causes this project to just disappear. So to comment on that, we've been working on this for 2 to 3 months now, and none of us have taken $1 to do it. We're just doing this because we want to do this. We're passionate about making this game. We want to see it happen. But, you know, there comes a time when if we're not making money, we're going to get kicked out of our houses and our cars repossessed and things like that. Unfortunately, in this...
Mortgages don't pay themselves.
Exactly. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we need money to get by. And we've been going as far as we can, just doing it the way we've been doing it. And, you know, if we could continue to do this game for free, we would. Like, there's no doubt about it. But, the easy answer is if we get funded, we don't have to worry about it. So that's the easy answer. I don't necessarily want to think of what the other answer is going to be, but it's not like we have a large cachet of money just hanging around waiting to be dipped into, because we don't. And you know, there's 6 people whose lives are on the line. We're all taking a huge risk. We're basically jumping off a cliff. We're mid flight right now. And you know, whether we hit the water or crash on the rocks is is still to be determined. But hopefully everything goes well, and it's not even a question. So, you know, like, if you want to see this game get funded, let everyone in the world who possibly may be interested know about it, because that's the way that we're going to get there. We had a nice surge over the weekend, and we're about 1/3 of the way there, and we have time left. That's great. We have time on our side. We got 11 days left, but you know, the game isn't going to fund itself. It's not just going to magically, money's just going to appear. I don't think there's anyone out there waiting with, you know, $35,000 in their back pocket saying, "Oh, I'm just going to wait till the end."
We need to put, what we're saying is we need to put LeVar Burton to shame.
Yes.
Because that would be awesome.
It would be. We don't have LeVar Burton on this team, and we don't have an altruistic, endeavor like he has. But but this is something. This is more than making just a game for Chikara fans, obviously, and that's what we want to do. Is we want to make a great beat 'em up that the fans of Chikara can appreciate and enjoy. But we want this to appeal to all audiences. This is not just for Chikara fans. It's they'll get the most out of it because they'll get all the little references and everything like that. But this is a game for everyone, and the thing we want to do is we want to create a studio. We want to have a studio here in the Boston area that, will be a destination. Like, unfortunately, Matt, I don't know if you knew anyone caught in it, but we had more layoffs in the local game industry. Harmonix laid off 37 people on Thursday or Friday. Yeah. And it sucks, like, they just had a successful Kickstarter. They got, like, I think just under 800,000, if I remember correctly. I'll look up that number real quick. And that's awesome that they completed. They got 844,127. So they basically got, they surpassed their initial goal, and they may have even hit one of their stretch goals. So that's awesome. It's phenomenal for them. But I don't know. It's kind of crummy. Right after that, like a week after, they lay off 37 people. Obviously they said it's not going to affect the production of Amplitude, which is great, but still, we want to have a place in the Boston area for a destination for people to go. If someone loses a job, there'll hopefully be another company for people to potentially get a job at. And that's the hope here, is that we can continue to get the Boston scene thriving. obviously there's only a handful of you out there in the Boston area. A lot of you guys are probably all over the world, but it does mean a lot to the area and to us as well, because we just love living here. So we want to have a destination, a place to work.
It was for a while a huge source of pride in the area that so much, not just technology but gaming as well was coming into the area. And I think, the past couple of years,
Yeah.
with everything that's happened with the different studios around, the past couple of years have kind of, dwindled the Boston area in regards to game development. We still want to keep it here. That's part of why we're doing this, because we're happy here. We like being here. We like the community here, and we want to just be able to continue that tradition. Like, I've worked in video games my entire career in the Boston area, and I want to keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had so that was Dingus's question. If we don't get funded, we need money to put this game out. So that's basically where it stands. If we don't get funded, I don't necessarily want to think about what that future is, but it costs money to make games, and right now we're not getting paid. So in order for this project to continue on, we need to get funded. So that's the goal. We just need to focus on that, and we have 11 days to make it happen. So Dingus, anyone else out there that wants to see this game get made, let everyone know. Just get the word out there, even if it's someone who may not even be a Chikara fan, but they like to support indie game development, or or whatever. Just get it out there. If your birthday's coming up, you can ask for money so you can pledge to us. So, and we also had a couple other people. I'm just looking at this thread. This is on the Chikara 101 boards. We had someone else. Let's see, JZFB Tollbooth says, I don't even own a PC and I just backed it, if only for the possibility of it getting ported to the Mac at some point in the future. Come on, Chikarmi, let's do this. So once again, our friend American Jesus was trying to rally the troops on there. So we got lots of conversations going on over there. Let me check the Twitter machine and see what's going on there. See if we have any. Oh, here we go. There's the hashtag. So we have a few. Most of them are for us pushing it. But we do have a question from James Snellgrove. His Twitter handle is @NuclearConvoy. And he asks, can you explain the idea behind hero archetypes? So I guess I'll take this one. Hero archetypes. So that's one of our stretch goals. It's not something we will probably be able to get in if we just hit 50,000 and get the base game, because it's going to be a little bit more involved. But what we want to do, each character, we want to have a very distinct feel to it. We want every character to feel different. We want every character to feel as close to their real life counterpart as possible. Now, animation is a lot of work. It's expensive. So is character art. There's only so much that we can do. So with the base game, what's going to happen is a lot of the characters are going to have are going to have similar attacks. So there's going to be a basic punch, there'll be a basic kick, there'll be uppercuts, there'll be forearms, there'll be kicks, basic maneuvers you'd see in either a wrestling ring or in a beat 'em up style of game. And each character right now, they're slotted to have their own signature move and their own special move. So each character, no matter what, will have those two, and that will make them feel unique and different. But if we get enough money to have the stretch goal of adding the hero archetypes, what we want to do is we have 3 different types. We have the high flyer, we have the technician, and we have the brawler. What we did was we took a lot of the Chikara wrestlers and tried to break them down into 3 categories. Now, there are some that are amalgamations of a few of those, and there's some that are very well rounded, like someone like, just say, like Hallowicked. If you are a fan of Chikara, you'll know that Hallowicked is one of the best wrestlers in Chikara, if not in the world. And he he mixes all the styles. He can brawl with the best of them. He can do some high flying moves here and there, but he also understands, you know, ring science and technician, and he's a technician. And he knows how to do submission holds and mat wrestling and stuff like that. So he's an amalgamation. What we'll have to do is we'll have to put him in the category, the archetype that fits him best. So someone like Assailant, who is now known as Worker Ant, he's a big brawler. He can hang with everyone, and he can do some high flying moves, and he can do some of the technical wrestling aspects. But he's more of a brawler. He's a bigger guy. He can take a beating, and he can dish one out. So he would fit into the brawler category, whereas Fire Ant would fit into the high flyer category. He's lightning fast. He does high flying moves. He's crazy. So he would definitely fit into that high flying, very fast, very quick, but you know, he can't take as much of a beating. So that's what we're trying to do, is to create these 3 different archetypes. So if we have the high flying archetype, someone like Fire Ant and someone like Frightmare would probably fit into that. And what we're going to do is they'll have moves that are more traditionally done by high flying competitors. So we would see, you know, maybe some drop kicks, an enziguri, some forearm punches, you know, more quick hitting type of maneuvers. Whereas the technician would be a lot more mat wrestling, a lot more submission style, stuff like that. And then also the brawler would be more of a heavy hitter, you know, maybe some bigger punches and things like that. So that's the idea with archetypes, and we have a lot more to it. We want to actually have the archetypes have level interactions, which we talked about, Matt. So level interactions would basically be, okay, the high flyer can interact with items in the world this way, whereas a brawler can interact with them in this way. And since we haven't gone down that route yet, we don't know. I mean, we have an idea what we want to do, but you know, there's still a lot of things that we can do to develop that out.
Interactions are actually something that's on my plate to start thinking about tackling. You know, once I finish up what I'm working on as far as level design work goes, then I'm going to transition over to, you know, a deep dive into blueprints to, you know, figure out what kind of interactions we can do with what we have, and you know, base it around our different archetypes. And try to make them interesting and exciting and engaging, and something that, you know, you feel like each character is doing something unique with the world around it, outside of just, you know, how it interacts with enemies.
Yeah, it's a lot that goes into the hero archetypes, and hopefully it's something we can continue to investigate further as we get funded. But you know, once again, that's something that's as we've been calling a post-money problem. We have pre-money and post-money problems, and that's one of the things that's, after getting funded, we're going to try to tackle. And if we're able to hit some of the stretch goals, that's one of the stretch goals that we have, is the hero archetypes. So because if we were to make an individual set of moves for each wrestler, we're looking at a ton of animation, and with the size of our team right now and everything, it's just not something that's feasible. If someone's like, hey, I'll give you $1 million to make this game, that changes things. That changes the scope of everything. But we're trying to be very economical with our time and our money, because we want to get this game out there. We want to finish it. And, you know, we're trying to do it on a shoestring budget, basically. You know, we've worked at companies in the past where $1 million is like nothing, you know? Yeah. And, you know, right now, this is basically, you know, 50,000 we can make the game. We've very intelligently budgeted things out and made sure that, you know, hey, if we get to 50,000, we can make this happen. You know, none of us are getting paid especially well doing that, but that doesn't matter to us. We want to make the game and we want to get it out there, but we also want to continue to live in our houses, basically, and pay our mortgages and our rent and everything. So that's basically what it comes down to. We're taking the smallest amount of money we can to survive, and that's why we set it at 50,000. Because we've had some people, I actually got asked by a couple people, "You guys are crazy. You think you can make a game for 50,000?" You know, and
they used to make games for less.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Like, people who work for AAA studios now, they see 50,000 and like, oh, that's like a salary for one person. You know, for a junior to mid-level designer or something like that, and it doesn't seem like much in the grand scheme of things, but that's the thing we're trying to do. We're trying to be very modest about this, and we just want to make the best game we possibly can and taking as little as we can to make it happen. And ideally, if we were a full-blown studio and we had a team in place and we had a studio that we were renting or leasing or whatever, then things would be different. But right now we're all working remotely from our houses and having virtual meetings and everything, so we're able to keep costs down that way. So let me go on. We had a question in the chat room from Lysander86.
One of our dev chat stalwarts.
Yes, thank you, Lysander86. We appreciate your time. Lysander says, I have a question. So for people who have already donated, is it true that Kickstarter has a system in place for increasing the amount of an already pledged donation? I read somewhere that this was how the new Amplitude game was funded. Some people who pledged in the early days increased the amount of their pledge as the days went on. So I do know from seeing our Kickstarter that it is possible to increase your pledge. I don't know exactly the process of doing that, but I've seen a few people go ahead and up their pledge. So if you just go and try to pledge again, I think you can up the amount that you pledged. We've actually had some people decrease the amount of their pledge and cancel their pledges altogether, which is their prerogative. But hey, but that sucks for us. But that's only happened like twice, I think. And we've had more people increase than we've had decrease. But yes, so it is possible. So if you've already pledged and you let's say you have a little extra cash, if you want to go ahead and add more money to your pledge, by all means, we seriously won't oppose that. So
they'll get all your gold stars, Lysander, or you'll get all their gold stars rather. Sorry. For attendance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lysander, he gets the attendance record. Absolutely.
We'll get him little luchador stickers that he can.
So we have JHD. That's what we call him here because we have two Jareds. So Jared Hall Dugas is saying that we'll be looking at add-ons as well. If people want a second shirt, for example, or a 4-pack for their friends, etc., people can change their tiers, increase their pledges, etc. So yes, so if you've already pledged and you find you have a little extra money, and now that you see where we are in relation to our goal, you can go ahead and up the ante if you'd like. We just had we had someone who gave a couple thousand to us the other day, which is awesome. So if you have extra money, you want to see this game get made, you can go ahead and increase your pledge if you'd like to. So
speaking of goals, do we want to remind them about the character reveal?
Let's do that.
Let's remind them of the character reveal. I think the thing that we're going now is every 10K we'll do another character reveal.
Yep.
So once we hit 20K, we'll have another playable character revealed for you guys to look at.
Yep. We're getting close. Let me get the up-to-date number here. We're just under 15,000. So if we get 5,000 more, we'll unveil the next playable character. Who will it be? Nobody knows except us. If you guys have seen the image out there, we have an image with 9 characters, 4 of which have been revealed already, and you can probably, if you're a fan of Chikara, you can probably ascertain which is which, or at least some of them. So, but you don't know in which order we're gonna unveil them. So. We just had another question in the chat room. Slysol asks, how many playable characters do you have now? So we have unveiled 4. And the base game, if we only get the 50,000 on Kickstarter and get to do the base game, that means we will have 6 playable characters. And we do have plans for up to 24. But once again, that's all dependent on money and stretch goals and all that fun stuff. So as of right now, we've unveiled 4. We have the colony of Fire Ant, Green Ant, and Worker Ant. And then we also just unveiled last week, we unveiled Hallowicked. So those are the 4 that we've announced so far. We have 2 more to announce. So when we hit 20,000 and 30,000 respectively, we will announce the next 2 playable characters. And if we happen to hit 70,000, that's our first stretch goal. We will be doing 3 more characters, and then we'll unveil them as we get closer to that, of course. So that's where we're at there. Let's see. I don't think we have any more Rudo Dev Chat questions on Twitter.
Beyond me spamming, telling people to
yes.
to send their questions using Rudo Dev Chat.
Yes, you should use that, people. Rudo Dev Chat, the hashtag Rudo Dev Chat on Twitter. If you have any questions throughout the week, it doesn't matter if it is while we're doing it live or any time. Just use that hashtag, and we'll get to it on the next Dev Chat. The next Dev Chat, I believe, is going to be next Monday. That's what our schedule says. So Monday at 2, I think, is where we're going to do the next one. But we hope to have another unveil before then. We may sort of unveil the new combat upgrade, if you will. So we'll see how that goes. We have some people hanging out in the chat room. So once again, if you folks have any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll get to them. We'll probably about 40 minutes in here. We'll probably start wrapping up here soon. So if you have questions, make sure to get them in. We'll also hit up Twitter and see if we have any new ones. It's Araxi who has been helping us out on with a lot of different things, but especially art. She says, I think we should all dress up as Chikara players and make dance videos.
I don't dance.
Is that like Machete don't text? Matt don't dance?
Matt don't dance. This is off my girlfriend, but Matt don't dance.
Well, what if we hit 50,000? Will you dance then?
Maybe.
All right. Well, we'll have to look into that. Maybe
if someone's holding out and being like, yeah, we've got 35,000 and we'll give it if Matt dances, then okay. But
you can wear a mask so nobody can actually prove that it's you. And
that's not going to stop them from speculating.
And I was going to say that'll further further propagate the idea that you're a Chikara wrestler.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat room wants us to dance for money. JHD will dance next Twitch. If we make 25K, he'll dance. Okay, so if we make 25K by next week, JHD will dance during the dev chat. Actually, I hope we make more than that. But if we make 50K by next, so if we hit our goal by next dev chat, there'll be a dance party in here. I guarantee it. Okay, we'll get everyone we can on the team in the studio, and we will all dance.
Do we want to do a Rotary Games Harlem Shake kind of thing? Or?
Maybe. Anything. I don't care. As long as we get funded and we continue to work on this game, I'll do it. Everyone says, well, yeah, everyone will watch. So, all right. Once again, questions, get them in because we're going to start wrapping up if we don't get any. Trying to think of what else we can chat about here, Matt. We have combat stuff, some new stuff coming your way. You guys will be catching that in hopefully 2-3 days, hopefully by midweek. We're doing another interview this week. Unfortunately, I don't have. Let me look it up real quick. I'll see if I can plug where we're going to do it. Although that probably means that it won't happen for some reason. Once I plug it, it means it probably won't happen. I don't have it here right now, so I'm not going to mention anything. But we are doing another interview. If there's anyone out there who would like to do an interview with us, let us know. You can tweet at us at Rotary Games. You can message us on Kickstarter, or you can go to rotary-games.com. There are links on there for email, or you can just email myself, Jay Smith, at rotary-games.com, jhaldugas at rotarygames.com, and you're out there too, Matt, but I don't know if you want spam. People can find you if they want.
It's not a difficult email to figure out.
So we have Game Academy. That's the site. Thank you, JHD. We're doing an interview with Game Academy. We have Slice All. What percentage done would you estimate you are on the game? I know it's still early, but I'm curious if you have a ballpark. That's a good question. Well, considering the base game is going to have 5 levels, and we have 1 level in pretty good shape, I'd say we're less than that. I'd say 10%. Would you think that's fairly accurate?
That sounds about accurate.
Yeah.
I think too. We still have some unanswered questions in regards to what our ultimate end of the game pacing is going to be. So we have a lot of sample spaces that we've built out that we're using as test beds. We're using them for test beds both for combat and as test beds for our environment development. And the idea is that once we get those test beds playing great and looking great, the extension of those designs into full-blown levels shouldn't really be all that painful or difficult for us to do. I think it's important that while we're still working on figuring out our combat pacing and whatnot,
Yep.
a lot of that informs ultimately what the rest of the game is going to look like in terms of how long levels are going to be, how complex levels are going to be, what kind of depth our combat system itself has, whether we have just kind of a airlock style combat system or we do something a little bit different and flavorful in regards to Chikara.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still a case of the chicken, the egg before the chicken,
Right.
but we're still kind of building the egg.
Yeah. So that's why I would say the thing is, as we get better with this stuff, it's gonna, like, for instance, the first level you built. Once we have the assets and everything, it's probably not going to take as long to build the next level, right? Because best practices will be in place, and it just will be easier to do. We'll have a better workflow as to how to do it. But it's a matter of getting the art assets, getting the animations. With combat in a good place right now, we can continue to iterate on it further. But getting combat in is a huge thing. Once it's in and looking good, then awesome. Like, combat is in and looking good, and then it's just a matter of iterating on it and getting it better. So yeah, so maybe 10 to 15%, I'd say, and we can probably make up a lot of the percentage as we go, because things are going to get easier to do as we learn the best practices. So
development will speed up as we if we've seen the city level that we built now, and we have additional city levels planned. Mm-hmm. So with those assets in place now, it's a lot easier for us to construct a city level because we don't have the pipeline congestion that we would have on a normal, like, brand new environment, because we're not building and then waiting for a next step and then building a little bit more and then waiting for a next step. We would have the majority of the pieces we would need to have that kind of space come together.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and there's a lot of, there's some unknowns too, depending on stretch goals that'll extend out, how much we need to add into the game. And also we have one boss fight that's been put in place. We can probably iterate on that further, but we want every boss fight to feel different and be unique. So each boss fight will be its own sort of question mark right now, depending on what we're going to do with them. So some of the boss fights might be crazy. It might take a while to develop what we're going to do there. So it's a good point right now to remind people that you can help influence the boss fights, because we do have a reward tier. Let me pull it up, make sure I have the right reward tier here. But if you pledge to be a grand champion, that's with a pledge of $2,500 or more, you can design a boss in game. And what we'll do is we'll give you a list of Chikara characters, because we unfortunately we have certain characters that we can use. Obviously, we know which ones want to be playable characters and which ones we want to use as enemies, and those are wrestlers that are deceased. And for those not watching, finger quotes, deceased. I don't mean they're really dead. They're not they don't wrestle any longer in Chikara. heroes or villains from Chikara's past, and those are the ones that are going to be the enemies. So we have a finite list of which ones we can use, and we'll give you a list if you pledge into that reward tier. You'll get a list, and you can pick which one, and we'll design a boss based on that character, and you'll get to help us. You'll consult on it and give us some ideas behind what you'd like to see for the boss fight. So it's a pretty cool one, because you get to help determine the outcome of the game, right? You get to help design it. So that's a pretty cool reward tier. I know it's a little bit pricey. Actually, a good question out there for anyone listening, and people who will listen to this subsequently after we've already done it. Do you think our reward tiers are unreasonable, or are there any that are too high? The one for the Grand Champion is $2,500. Is that something that people would be willing to buy into if it was a little less? Because we may have some wiggle room on stuff like that. So if it was $2,000, would that help? Things like that. So if you have any feedback about the rewards, let us know, because we do have 11 days to change course. So if there's something, if there's another reward that we need to add in, if there's one that hasn't been pledged into yet, we can alter it. So we can lower the price, we can do whatever. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. We have, actually, we do. Someone bought into the Luchador tier, which is an NPC version of yourself. So we have already one of those is gone. So if you want to get yourself in the game, it's possible you can do that. We'll put your likeness in the game as an NPC. You'll see yourself in the background. There's the Grand Champion, and we can help us design a boss. And then the King of Trios will make an exclusive physical statue of Ultramantis Black. So it would be very rare and numbered to however many people buy into that tier. So it's possible, if you're able to buy into that tier, you could own the only one in existence. So, hey, if you like rare stuff, you could potentially get a statue of Ultramantis Black, and you could be the only person in the world that owns it. So that's kind of cool, right? It's a lot of money, but it's going to take us a lot of money to get that made as well. So let me take one last look around, see if there's any other questions.
If you guys in the chat have any questions while we're doing that, pop them up.
Yep, absolutely. Slysol says there needs to be a Buffalo Wild Wings reward. I think because that's someone we know and wants to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. So that's $35,000. If you pledge $35,000, you can go to Buffalo Wild Wings with us.
Buffalo Wild Wings on us. If you
on
do
us,
that.
yeah. We may even pay for you to get out here if you give us $35,000. So I think that's it on Twitter. Let me check the Chikara 101. Make sure there's no more questions on there. And I don't see any. It looks like we do not have any more in the chat room. So last call for questions, and I'm going to start wrapping up. And then if we get any, we'll take them as we get them. But start to wind down here. So next week, hopefully we'll be dancing for you in studio. That'll mean we've hit 50,000, and we'll have a party. If we don't, we'll still be on here to talk about all sorts of cool stuff. Talk about the happenings in the last week, the development of what we've done. So by then you will have seen a new video that will show off the upgraded combat. And let's see what else. I guess that's it. Just the upgraded combat is the big thing. That's the big thing. The big focus right now is to show some more animations. There's some pretty sexy animations. So I think they look pretty cool. And we get some very basic VFX in, which is obviously helps everything and makes it look good. And I guess that's it. Oh, someone's doing a dance in the chat room. So maybe they got 50,000 today.
Maybe they won the lottery or something.
Maybe if you did, hey, you might want to help us out. Yeah. So anyone out there winning the lottery, let us know. We'll take whatever you got. Even if it's a $1 scratch ticket, I guess we'll take it. So, all right, Matt. I think that will do it for us this week. We may have some other announcements next week. We're working on some cool stuff that I don't want to talk about yet because if it doesn't happen, there's no sense in talking about it. But there's something.
But we'll tease you.
Yes, we'll tease you with this event. There may be an event occurring at a specific geographical location in the world. And if it happens, it'll be super cool. But as of right now, it's just up in the air, and we're going to talk to a person later today. I know that's super, super vague, and I know we're all about being open and honest with you, but we don't have all the details yet, so there's not much to share. But there could be something cool going on next week. There is interviews going on, all sorts of cool stuff. So if you've already helped out and pledged, thank you. Feel free, as Lysander pointed out, you can up your pledge if that's something you want to do. That would, greatly help us out. If you cannot pledge or have already pledged, feel free to share this with everybody. Let everyone know about Rudo Resurrection. The easiest way to tell people, if you don't have a link handy to send them, just tell them to go to Kickstarter and search for Rudo, R-U-D-O. That's all you need to do. We're the only thing that pops up. So, a super easy way to find us. And if you know anyone in the press, let them know about it and tell them they should cover it and get in touch with us because we can use more press and more help. Definitely be appreciated. We want to get the word out there. We want this game to get made. We want a studio in the Boston area. All that good stuff. So, Matt, any final thoughts for us?
Just kind of reiterating, if you have questions for us, the Rudo Dev Chat hashtag is where you can send them on Twitter. If you're a part of the Chikara 101, feel free to ask us questions there.
Yep.
Any questions you have, just get them out there because, with the exception of when we have to be vague, we want to answer as many questions as possible and let you guys know as much of what we're doing as we can.
Absolutely. One last check of the Rudo Dev Chat. And nothing there. Okay. So let me go ahead and we'll play some music. We'll play out here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, whether you joined the live stream or checking it out after the fact. We appreciate you being interested in what we're doing. And hopefully we'll have some good news next week in terms of more funding and more fun stuff that's going on in the world of Rudo Resurrection. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll check you next week on the Twitch chat.
Take it easy, everyone.